Hi, my name is Heidi McKenzie, and we're in Montreal at the Centre Céramique Bon Secours. And this is my solo exhibition, L'Homme Oublié, The Forgotten Man. I'm just going to do a walkthrough of the exhibition and tell you a little about why I made it and why we're here. So I wanted to start with this first piece. It's the title piece, The Forgotten Man, L'Homme Oublié. The reason I am looking at the 1969 race protests in Montreal is because after my father passed in 2016, in 2020, I found out that he was involved in Canada's largest student protests that happened in February of 1969. And what I found out is that my father, who was a biology professor, did his PhD with Perry Anderson in London, Ontario, and that they were very close friends, and that my father supported Perry Anderson and claimed that it was impossible that he would have been a racist. And my father grew up in Trinidad and Tobago, was born in 1930. And it was 6 Trinidadian black students at Sir George Williams, which is now Concordia, who accused Perry Anderson of academic racism that caused a huge blow up, a massive sit-in of over 200 to 300 students at what is now the main building of Concordia University in downtown Montreal, the Henry F. Hall building, which ended up in massive destruction of the computer labs and hundreds of student arrests, and prime ministers from Guyana, Trinidad, and Jamaica coming up to bail out their students, and international ripple effects and protests. So grappling with all of that and reckoning with that is the essence of this show. So here we have a digital collage that tells the story. I have posted the negative of that image, which then I translated into a cyanotype print on hand-rolled porcelain, and the photograph of my father, and the actual magazine from February 21st, 1969 from Time, where my father is quoted as denying that it's even possible that Anderson could have been a racist. So this left me feeling bouleversée, turned around, upset, confused, because I grew up believing my father was an egalitarian man. My father married a white woman in 1957. My mother's roots are Irish, and I grew up in a white community on the east coast of Canada with my father, who supported the rights of gays, who was a socialist, a New Democrat, a union man, protested against the Vietnam War, etc. So it's really kind of shattered my illusions. This series of sculptures I call blueprints, and I've literally taken an image of the 7th floor of the building and screen printed it onto ceramics in the blue that would evoke the old architectural blueprints, and crumpled the clay and moved it into these shapes, and also included the steel rebar. So this is a blueprint series, and the other series that has blue pigment in it is, I call it Pierced. I also felt that I wanted to translate my feelings when I really thought about how I felt about my father's involvement and this event. I really felt pushed into corners, that he would have felt pushed into a corner, that Perry would have felt pushed into a corner, the students would have felt pushed into a corner, and I felt pushed into a corner emotionally, and I physically pushed my hands into these corners that I made that became the corners of the building, the figurative, abstract version that I created of the Henry F. Hall building, which is now the academic center and heart of Concordia University. So these are ceramic corners of the building. I worked with a collaborator to realize my vision of the metal structure, and I worked with the archives at Concordia University to find the images that I wanted to translate and fire onto these tiles, which kind of evoke the windows and the violence and the history and the narrative of the event. These are life-size computer punch cards from the 1960s, which became iconic symbols of the protest. The students dropping them out of the windows in protest, the students taking over the computer center, and these are the headlines of the days that are information about what happened on these cards, which were the beginning of digital technology. These are life-size windows of the hall building, where I have taken digital collage and rendered them with bold colors, really kind of underscoring the energy of the students and the protest, and documenting their demands, who was arrested, and their statements, and what actually took place during the protest.